Chi University partners with universities in India and Myanmar to help students be competitive worldwide. DaAi Technology presents the R2R products at the Humanitarian Ecotech Pavilion in Taichung Flora Expo. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Maggie Tai. Thank you for joining us. Tzu Chi University signed the memo of collaboration with 3 universities in India. Tzu Chi University also visited the first and second medical university in Myanmar, as cross-cultural exchange will help broaden the research of students. Tzu Chi University is following the new southbound policy of the government and signing collaboration memorandums with 3 universities and academic institutes in India. The school hopes to enhance Taiwanese students' international vision.
Tzu Chi University is an international school, so we must improve the global mobility of our students. We hope that they will be able to work anywhere in the world.
Besides India, university staff also went to the first medical university in Yangon, Myanmar. They've offered to set up research workshops for students for academic exchange.
Our university's equipment and teachers lead that of other Southeast Asian countries, so we must cherish our resources and have confidence in ourselves. We must work harder and harder to keep on improving our education quality.
The goal is to open the door to the globe and to send students to international markets. Tzu Chi University will continue to establish connections with research institutions around the world so that students can be competitive wherever they go. In Taiwan, students from Tzu Chi Senior High School annually return to the Jingsi abode. This year, 703 teachers and students brought back their coin banks to meet Dharma Master Zheng Yan. They all made vows to help more people in need.
Each coin bank is filled with the love from these elementary students who are less than 12 years old. Children also shared over the past year in the elementary division of Tzu Chi Senior High School.
During our 12-hour fast, I felt uncomfortable when I went hungry. Through this experience, I realized Dharma Master Zheng Yan's teachings in eating only 80% and leaving the 20% to help others.
The core spirit of the Tzu Chi school is to cultivate the children and plant seeds of kindness in their hearts. This way they become someone who can purify people's hearts and harmonize society.
Their onstage performance not only helps cultivate children's moral character, but also inspires their compassion.
我们的小朋友也都知道要教育哈，那也知道要有爱心，没饭吃的人、可怜的人，还有呢难民的人，这都是大家有共同要捐普满。 省一点点就可以做大大的善事。
A total of 703 teachers and students brought love and kindness back to their spiritual home. They also gathered to pray for auspicious needs and vowed to revisit the Jingsi abode next year.
In Myanmar, Tzu Chi volunteers took 6 different routes to remote areas to distribute rice seeds. Flood-affected villagers who received help all felt very moved, with many making donations to reciprocate Tzu Chi's love.
On the 3rd day of Tzu Chi's rice seed distribution in Myanmar, volunteers headed to Thanampin, which is less than an hour away from downtown. Dust from the road could be seen on the clothing of every volunteer.
There was dust on the road on our way to Tha Nhat Phin. Since there were many holes in the road, the dust filled our car when we passed by.
Tzu Chi volunteers came from afar to help 418 households from 9 different villages. Some people used cell phones to record the whole distribution process. Many of them have been impressed by Jingsi aphorisms on the rice bags.
Before, I've never heard giving without asking for anything in return, but today I realize it is to carry out the act of giving.
Seeing Tzu Chi volunteers coming from afar to do good deeds, I'm deeply moved.
This time, volunteers divided into 6 different groups to conduct the distribution. On their way to the dyewood area, the roads were also bumpy and full of dust. Upon arriving at the distribution venue, it is a challenge for them to use the old generators and wires to conduct two distributions. Fortunately, volunteers brought 3 extra bundles of wires.
It's 30 meters in a roll. I feel worried again. Why is it so long? Fortunately, we're able to solve the problem today as we can use these 3 extra bundles of wires.
Although there were many obstacles during the process, volunteers were able to overcome all of them. When walking into the village, one can still see the damage caused by the flood last year. Residents used canvas to shelter them from the wind and rain. They even used bamboo to reinforce their rooms, which had been destroyed by the floods.
They use bamboo to frame it, so it's very unstable when we step on it. Now they sleep in this place.
Volunteers sympathize with the affected residents, but the villagers feel grateful that they have the opportunity to give. This 68-year-old grandma feels happy that she's still healthy enough to accept Tzu Chi's care. After receiving help from rice seeds distribution, the recipients all cherish their blessings and show smiles on their faces.
In Hainan, China, Tzu Chi volunteers conducted home visits for 2 care recipients, both of whom face challenges in life. Under volunteers' care and love, their wounds have started to heal. Let's take a look.
Hu Luoshou is a Tzu Chi care recipient. While the volunteers paid a visit to her house, they saw her foot was swollen and ulcerated.
She told us that her foot got burned by the boiling pot, leading to ulceration. We told her to go to the hospital, but she wouldn't go. So we immediately called a volunteer, who is a doctor, for help. We took a picture of her wound and sent it to him.
As the injury is severe, the foot might need to be amputated. I asked my other colleague to see if he can give her treatment, and afterwards I brought her some dressings to take care of her wound.
Her husband has been missing for more than 10 years. Moreover, her 2 sons have serious mental illness and both are hospitalized. Life has always been difficult for her. Thankfully, the volunteers are always there to help her and accompany her, but no one ever expected she would encounter such an accident. Under the volunteers' care, her wound began to heal as scar formed. In addition, volunteers will continue to accompany her and encourage her after the treatment finished. They hope Ms. Hu can overcome the challenges and move forward. The volunteers' unconditional love was also delivered to another Tzu Chi care recipient, Gong Ailan. Although she couldn't really stand up on her own, she still waited by the door waiting for the volunteers to come.
Before, she couldn't move at all. Now, if you help her stand up, she can walk around.
A few years ago, Ms. Gong suffered from a brain tumor, leading to mobility issues. Volunteers have conducted regular visits to help her in the recovery process. As we can see, the unconditional giving of the volunteers has helped many individuals. In the future, this kind of love will continue to be delivered to people in need.
The Humanitarian Ecotech Pavilion at the Taichung Flora Expo is the perfect combination of technology and environmental protection. Today we will take you to explore the R2R, which means recycle to recycle. Let's look at this impressive innovation.
After
the volunteer's explanation, the visitor was surprised that the sunglasses in her hand was made from recycled fabrics.
I thought it was very interesting that it was made by recycled materials. It's great that we can reuse the recycled goods.
You might have heard that after a series of processing, the recycled PET bottles can be made into blankets. During the process, there will be some extra fabrics. Are they being thrown away? No, it can very well be reused as well.
This was made from the side of the blanket, and we can make it into another blanket as well. Also, we can make fleece vests. We can also use the material to make sunglasses and face masks with the injection technique.
Other than the above items, these scarves, knee pads, zippers, and buttons were all made from recycled fabrics.
We recycle the disposed textiles and turn them into textile products again. This is the second recycling process, so we call it recycle to recycle.
The second recycling process can give the recycled items another life. However, there are many technical problems to solve during the progress.
When we try to do the second recycling process of a recycled item, its physical property will go through degradation. After a modification, we can keep the plastic strength after the injection.
The recycled PET bottles were turned into blankets, and the blankets can be turned into other products. The advanced technology has made extending the material lives possible.
Technology is amazing. However, the credit must go to the people who handled it. On one side, we have our recycling volunteers who work hard to sort garbage. On the other hand, we have our technical personnel to create all these products.
The R2I technique has won many awards internationally. In the future, there will be more innovative developments that continue the green recycling economy. The 2019 Taiwan Lantern Festival is being held in Pingtung County. Tzu Chi's lantern area is divided into 6 themes by Tzu Chi Pingtung chapter, and 90% of the displays were made by recycled items, inviting the public to cherish the Earth's resources.
The 2019 Taiwan Lantern Festival is taking place at Dabun Bay in Pingtung County. The main lantern is in the shape of tuna fish, a famous commercial fish caught in Pingtung, instead of traditional animal of the year to show the vitality of Taiwan. Tzu Chi Foundation also has lanterns in the religious area. Tzu Chi's area is divided into 6 themes, and 90% of items in the Tzu Chi area were recycled goods from Tzu Chi recycling stations in Pingtung.
We used recycled materials here. We have here a wishing sky lantern, and we show it on a computer monitor, so it is different from a traditional sky lantern, which will produce garbage.
It's wonderful. Earlier, I couldn't tell the lotus flowers was made by spoons. You're very wise.
It's pretty. This is my first time seeing it, and it's a very pretty lantern area.
Around 30 to 40 Tzu Chi volunteers will staff the Tzu Chi lantern area, so they want to show to the public that it is very important to cherish resources.
Today's our final investigation into the subject of water resources. Our reporters have visited 4 different countries. In Kenya, where people burying their pets to the soil to drink water. In Hong Kong, we saw safe water flushing to save resources. In Taiwan, we saw the beginning of reclaimed water for industrial use. And in Japan, we saw a country that loves to build reservoirs to save precious water resources. Let's travel back.
When we began this topic, we hoped everyone could come together to think about where the water is going and how we could cherish every drop of water. Kenya was a British colony in its early years. Its infrastructure is not as bad as other African countries, but why does it lack water? Our reporters went to find out through first-hand observations.
When we first started in Kenya, we went to the western part of the country. You could feel that this place is very dry. There are no trees, and even the mountains are bare. And there is a war to get water almost every year. They will go to the riverbed and dig the sand. There is a person who has been digging and digging to find water. When they find it, they will directly bury his head in the hole to drink the water. We also saw how local residents collect water and pour it into the pot and then cook it. If they had to cook or do it, they would directly use the fire to cook the unfiltered water. If they fall down, they'll get muddy. They actually have nothing, and certainly no normal water resources. I think that this is like looking at our own heart. When you have nothing, you will find this thing to be precious.
Our reasons for going to Japan is because they have a concept of looking ahead. This is worth learning. Even though they won't like rain, Japan's Weather Bureau even told them that over the next few decades, the number of rainstorms will increase, but the amount of snow in the mountains will decrease. So Japan began to plan ahead, and now they have more than 2,000 reservoirs across the country. Every reservoir is a treasure water resource.
It's a reservoir that supplies drinking water to people, and for those that are used for machines, those are different. I think that a long time ago they planned this out. It may have been 50 years ago or already in the Edo period 100 years ago. This is all well planned and designed.
There are 2,600 reservoirs in Japan. You will want to ask why you have to build so many reservoirs. This is because they are a culture that is deeply prepared for everything. This is in their genes.
Since we are in such an advanced country, we don't need to go far to get some water. We just have to take a bottle, and we can even get water from the bathroom.
Turn on the faucet and drink it like me. This is part of daily life in Japan. Everyone knows that in Japan you can directly drink the tap water. But some still worry about the quality, as when we went to Saitama Prefecture, we can see people buying water in the supermarket. The place where we were staying had a bucket, and buying water is still a very common thing.
Water from the spring is very sweet and soft.
They came to drink this spring water, which is purified through a layer of gravel. But upstream of the Tama River, this small reservoir also provides clean water to Tokyo. I think that this logic is a little wrong.
The problem in Hong Kong is exactly the opposite of Japan. Because many people live in Hong Kong, which has a lot of development, the problem of water scarcity will be highlighted. So in the past few years, they bought Dongjiang water, and they also made many reservoirs and dams, as well as use seawater to flush the toilet. They hope that this can reduce dependence on water resources. How they save every drop of water is a lesson that is worth learning for Taiwan.
In Hong Kong, the flushing system looks the same as other countries. However, looking closely at the details is quite different. They use seawater for flushing, and after rubbing our hands here, we find some salt residue. You can see that Hong Kong is very prosperous. They still pump groundwater or use well water. They also believe that using fresh water to flush the toilet is very wasteful. Everyone wants to have two pipelines to use seawater for flushing.
In fact, I also thought about this matter. If Hong Kong can do seawater flushing and Taiwan is surrounded by the sea, why can't we do it? When I was on the streets of Hong Kong with our reporter Guoxin, I saw a taxi driver who was washing his vehicle. I asked him why he used a bucket to wash the car. Was it because water is expensive? He said no, he just thought this was a good way to save water. So I think that many here have water-saving awareness.
Everyone said that Hong Kong's development relies on Dongjiang water. This is true considering the volume of water purchases, and I don't think it has any bargaining chips. For this reason, some scholars want Hong Kong to have water independence, as everyone recommends it upgrades the local water supply.
Kaohsiung's Fengshan Wastewater Treatment Center is the first in Taiwan to process reclaimed water. When we arrive at the first stage of the sewage treatment plant, the odor from household sewage entered the plant was very strong.
The water is mixed with a sewage containing excrement and also mixed with water for washing vegetables and other domestic sewage. The odor is very strong, and it's amazing that they can regenerate this water and make it cleaner than tap water.
问题是，当这些民生污水还在我们家里面的时候，我们目前的系统当中呢，就是把所有的这些水都集中在一起。
The problem is that household sewage is all mixed together when it comes to the sewage treatment plant. I think that the government should develop a better sewage diversion system to handle relatively clean water and another system to deal with dirty water like toilet waste. We simply spend too much to do this waste processing.
然后之后呢，我们花了那么多的经费去做这个部分的处理。
It seems like a little bit like tap water. There's a little taste of chemicals such as chlorine. Now let's see what our cameraman thinks.
现在呢，换我们的摄影记者来体验。
有一种就是。There's a kind of chlorine taste, but it is basically okay. I feel it's actually quite good drinking this water.
In fact, the first feeling at that time was to say that, whoa, if there's water shortage today, do I want to drink this water? Although the level of this water has completely met the drinking water standard, when you see that it was originally muddy water, you might be hesitant to drink it.
If today someone in a disaster area has no water, they will be dehydrated. If they have clean water, this can save them.
If one day, in fact, there's no water, what should we do? You still need to drink water.
There's a consensus about our shortage of water. We have a common understanding. What we lack is joint action, so we want to reawaken everyone's awareness of this topic. Let's practice the concept of cherishing every drop of water in daily life.
让我们一起留住一滴水。84-year-old Tzu Chi volunteer Cai Gui-e had a challenging life. Her husband has been bedridden for more than 10 years, and she has to shoulder all the responsibilities of the family. Fortunately, she has found a home in the Tzu Chi family.
I think writing calligraphy is a good exercise. It helped calm my mind and led me to forget about my worries. It also helped me practice stability in my handwriting and kept me from forgetting characters.
Cai Gui-e is 84 years old. Her calligraphy comes from practice at a young age. Her life has been challenging since her father passed away when she was in elementary school. After she got married, her husband's work had been up and down. Life got more miserable when her husband got ill.
He fell and can't get up anymore. It's like a stroke. I've been caring for him and changing his diaper for more than 10 years.
Fortunately, Tzu Chi volunteers came into her life and guided her to find peace in a big family.
I volunteer at Darling Tzu Chi Hospital every month. I organize the medications at a pharmacy, so it's faster for people to get their prescriptions. Other volunteers put me to work in the pharmacy because I don't need to walk too much there.
Her hip joint was hurt in a car accident, so she couldn't stand for a long period of time. She served as a medical volunteer for years, and she has compassion for patients who suffer from illness.
Being ill is very painful. It makes you understand sorrow in life. I'm glad that I'm healthy and able to serve others in need.
Other than her children, she has found comfort in the Tzu Chi family. She has found peace from Buddhist scriptures despite challenges in life, and now she is walking the Bodhisattva path.
I hope I can stay healthy and continue to serve till my last breath.
Tzu Chi U.S. headquarters are about to celebrate its 30th anniversary this year. Tzu Chi University Vice President Liu Yijun attended the first humanistic culture camp and inaugurated the Tzu Chi University Education Center. We'll leave you with these images and thank you for joining us. Goodbye.